Obviously, it is Monday. It is Saturday. And I am going live early today because NXT is having its Great American Bash show. It's at 3, so obviously if I went so I decided, you know what, I might as well just go live at 2:30 and then hopefully I won't miss too much of the Great American Bash. I mean, hopefully. There's no guarantee that I won't miss it. Hopefully, I won't miss any of it, but it's okay. But hey, let's get on with the show. I want to get this over with by within an hour. Within an hour, I would like to get this over with. So we start out with Monday Night Raw. Started out as always with Seth Rollins and his new faction featuring Bronson Reed, Thrawn Breaker, and obviously his new wise man of sorts, Paul Heyman. Now, Seth Rollins wanted to speak, but apparently someone by the name of Braun Breaker decided, you know what, I'm gonna grab the mic and I'm gonna speak. Because I'm tired of Sami Zayn. Woo! 2 likes already. Let's go. Yeah. Start out, obviously, Braun Breaker had a lot to say about Sami Zayn and did not hold back at all. So, okay. Sami Zayn was to have a match later on in the night against Braun Breaker, and it's easy to say that Braun Breaker was not going to pull any punches, was not going to hold back during this match, and let's be honest, he did not. Hey, Aaron. Thanks for showing up. Well, then Bronson Reed decided to talk. And hey, let's be honest. He had a lot to say about Jey Uso. And that's about it. He had a lot to say when it came to Jey Uso. Because also, he would have a match later on that night against Jey Uso. And then Paul Heyman decided to talk some trash Penta and decided, you know what, I'm gonna flex my Spanish a little bit. So he decided to speak some Spanish, which I'm guessing was a threat, designed to be a threat, because he would face Seth Rollins in the main event. So it was a great opening segment. I like Braun Breaker and I like Bronson Reed, and I think both of them should be talking a lot more than they are. Because right now, it just seems like up until now, most of what they've been doing has just been being used as just muscle for Seth Rollins whenever he needs someone to get him out of a jam. Or he's in a situation where he doesn't want to. I mean, hey, here's what it is. After this, we got the Judgment Day. Backstage. They have now made a shrine of sorts to honor Liv Morgan. She's not dead, guys. She's just injured and continues to preach that, guys, you know Liv Morgan's gonna come back. She's gonna come back pretty soon, okay? You guys know Liv Morgan's gonna she's gonna come back, just like that. But then obviously Finn Balor tries to tries to get Rodriguez to embrace the inevitability that she's not coming back anytime soon. Obviously, he mentioned his shoulder injury that he suffered in his match in that match he had with Finn Balor. It's with Seth Rollins at SummerSlam 2016. It took him months to come back. He's trying to be optimistic about this and be like, hey, look, I get it. I like Liv too. I want her to be back soon too, but we have to realize that might not happen. Okay? I know Raquel is not all too happy with Roxanne being in this match and being in Judgment Day and all that. And then I think tonight they did sort of vote to officially initiate Roxanne into the Judgment Day. And then we go and we get Roxanne Perez having a match tonight against Kairi Sane. This match was very good. It went about 12 minutes or so. It was very good. And Kairi Sane actually won the match. I'm surprised. She won the match even after a distraction by Raquel Rodriguez sort of distracted her. Even though Raquel Rodriguez distracted her, she was still able to get the roll-up win over Roxanne. Obviously, the post-match beatdown happened by the Judgment Day, and then all of a sudden, here comes Asuka, the Empress of Tomorrow. She came in defense of her friend Kairi Sane. This would obviously bleed into the plans for Evolution. After this, we got Sami Zayn. Backstage being interviewed by, I think it was by Kathy Kelly, before his match against Braun Breaker. Scarlett interrupts, doesn't do anything, and just stares at him. And then that's that. Then we got what I thought was probably one of the funnier moments of this entire show. We got the New Day. The New Day came out to coming out. The New Day were dressed in funeral clothes, but that's not the part that was so funny. What was funny about the way they were dressed, that they were obviously dressed for a funeral, the death of the women of the tag team division over on Raw, but they were dressed like they could have been extras in a Madea movie, like the Madea family funeral. I just thought that was so funny. Just they were dressed for a funeral, obviously, but dressed as if they were about to go to a Madea family funeral, or at least they could have been extras in that movie. And there were a lot of comments. The video that WWE uploaded, obviously, of that segment, a lot of other people were commenting it, obviously, and I thought that was funny. So it wasn't just me that was thinking it. A lot of fans were obviously thinking the same thing. But it is what it is. They said what they said, and it was funny, which might actually be better for them. This might be the best thing for them, playing comedic heels, not just full-on heels, but comedic heels. But after this, we then get into New Day backstage with Adam Pearce, they won another shot. They won a rematch for their tag team titles that they unfairly lost. Then the War Raiders come in and say, no, we deserve a shot at tag team titles. Both New Day and War Raiders start arguing. Eventually Adam Pearce sends them on their way. And then we get the Kabuki Warriors of Kairi Sane and Asuka. They come over. They now want to talk with Adam Pearce about putting them potentially in the fatal four-way match for the tag team titles at Evolution. And Adam Pearce decides that that is the best for the women's tag team match. And so now it's been made official. And so tomorrow at Evolution, there will be a fatal four-way match for the women's tag team titles. Kairi Sane and Asuka, the Kabuki Warriors versus the champions, obviously Raquel and Roxanne Perez versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus the NXT team of Sol Ruka and Zarya, who are technically you could say that every single team in this fatal four-way match is just a bunch of singles wrestlers that have been paired up as a tag team. The only legit tag team in this entire match is the Kabuki Warriors, and even they're just two singles wrestlers that have been paired up just for this match. Mainly because that's all they've been doing recently has been in the singles division. But it makes sense. Kabuki Warriors are obviously a legit team, but they won't win the tag team titles. My prediction is Charlotte Flair and Asuka. That's going to be my prediction. It's going to be my prediction for the match. But hey, it is what it is. Then we got Adam Pearce. Then we also get, once we go to commercial break and we come back, we got Adam Pearce and El Grande Americano. Well, with he's with the American Made. And he has an announcement that El Grande Americano has requested a match. For tonight. And Brutus Creed, for some stupid reason, decides to blurt out, how can El Grande Americano be having a match tonight? Chad Gable's injured. Julius knocks him on the head, sort of whacks him on the head, dude, will you keep your big mouth shut? Nobody's supposed to know that. Okay, Brutus, thank you for telling us what we already knew for the past few months ever since El Grande became a character on WWE. Thank you for reminding us. Yes, El Grande Americano is Chad Gable. And yes, this current version of El Grande Americano is not Chad Gable. That's only because, number one, Chad Gable is injured. So obviously they needed someone new to play the character, and it is obviously Ludwig Kaiser. But yeah, thank you, Brutus, for letting the cat out of the bag, shall we say. Adam Pearce was interested in Brutus' comments by saying, why would Chad Gable's injury affect El Grande Americano at all? I'm sure he had his suspicions too that it was Chad Gable, but this all but confirms that it was Chad Gable. Because why would Brutus even say that? Why would Brutus even say that El Grande Americano shouldn't even be able to have a match tonight because of Chad Gable's injury? You're literally telling the audience, yes, El Grande Americano is Chad Gable, without actually saying those words. Woohoo! 5 likes. 5 likes. Thank you guys for the 5 likes. I appreciate it. To the people who are here, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's get on with the show. We then get Sami Zayn versus Braun Breaker. This match doesn't initially start because apparently Karrion Kross, for the second straight week, has decided that he is going to attack Sami Zayn. Last week, he attacked Sami Zayn backstage with a pipe. this week it's the same thing, although it's on Sammy's way to the ring. First match with Braun Breaker. He attacks Sami Zayn. He leaves. Sami Zayn is out there to face Braun Breaker. Adam Pearce asks Sami, comes out to ask Sami if he should even be wrestling and if he even wants to wrestle. Sami's like, no, Adam Pearce, no, Adam. If I say I'm ready to go, if I say I'm wrestling Braun Breaker, then I'm wrestling Braun Breaker, and there's nothing that's going to get me to not wrestle this match. And so, hey, I guess it's Sami's funeral if he wants to kill himself. And he technically did. So we got Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn. The match started, the match happened, and it was basically a squash match, which, to be honest, is kind of what it needed to be. It didn't need to be a competitive match. It just needed, this was to be a match to showcase Braun's new unhinged badassery, which, to be honest, it's always been there. He doesn't need to prove that he's a badass anymore, because that's kind of what he was when he first showed up to Raw. He was just this guy that just wanted to hurt people and wanted to cause chaos every single chance he got. If he's going back to that version of himself, this unhinged guy that just causes chaos to anybody that even said that he either says anything negative about him or even just looks at him funny, like, yeah, it could work. But hey, it lasted just about, and Braun Breaker wins. Good for him. He needed this win against Sami Zayn. Then we get Nikki Bella. She has a video package. They have a video package for her. She is going to be at Evolution still, because it looked like they might be looking to do a team match between Nikki Bella and between the Bellas and Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez for the tag team titles. Although Liv's injury obviously changed plans. Obviously. But Nikki Bella will now be in the Women's Battle Royal. But with the winner getting a shot at a championship. With the winner getting a shot at a championship. Whether it's the Women's Championship on SmackDown or the World Championship on Raw, I think the person who will win this battle royal is Stephanie McCurry. She has made it official. She made it official on this episode of Raw too, that she is going to be competing in that battle royal. So hey, I think she's gonna win. I think she might win this. We then after this we got a video package where we took a look at last week's Sheamus versus Rusev match, which was last week, which was a great match. Definitely one of the better matches of the entire show last week. And so, it is what it is. Is obviously Sheamus lost via heel trickery by Rusev, and this feud will obviously not be over anytime soon. I'm hoping it's not. We also got Lyra Valkyria, Becky Lynch, and Bayley in a segment hyping up their women's Intercontinental Championship match, which will not main event Evolution, but will be on the Evolution card. Which I'm surprised at. I know it's the Women's World Championship. It's the top women's title on Raw, but still, you'd think that they would give the match with the most build, or the match with a build in the main event, because this is literally the only match that has been built up in any way, shape, or form. All the other matches either have zero build or very little build, And it's just, I mean, the WWE Women's Championship match between Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus, it makes sense. Rhea versus Io, it makes sense, obviously. Naomi versus Jade, yes, it makes sense because they've been feuding and now this feud's finally going to end. But the build of these matches has been non-existent. And this is the only match that has been built up in any way, shape, or form going into the show. But it is what it is. Obviously, Becky came out first. She obviously said a few things. Bayley comes out, and then almost immediately, Lyra decides that she's not going to be upstaged by Bayley, so she comes out almost immediately after Bayley does. They all are in the ring. They all take personal shots at each other. Bayley even at one point tells Lyra that she saw Lyra win the Women's Intercontinental Championship. She saw Lyra become a double champ at WrestleMania, but she also saw Lyra lose the championship, and she saw Lyra hold Becky Lynch's hand up in the air like a B word. And then that led to a brawl between all three, with Lyra getting the Nightwing on both superstars. So she has the momentum going into the match. I doubt she wins, because that's usually not the case. That usually means the exact opposite is going to happen. So Lyra obviously has the momentum. That usually means that the heel is going to win the match. So I think Becky wins. And I think she holds the title for a little while longer going into SummerSlam. And I think that she may lose the title at SummerSlam to Becky, to Lyra maybe. But who knows? We also get Bronson Reed versus Jey Uso. We got this match lasted about 7 minutes. Bronson Reed wins. It is what it is. Good for him. Tsunami. We then get Karrion Kross interview. We then get a Karrion Kross interview where he's interviewed by Kathy Kelly. The fans start chanting, "We want Kross, we want Kross." And then Karrion Kross just shouts at the top of his lungs, "Oh, now you got him. Oh, now you got him." The fans love Karrion Kross. I think there's no way to deny that. I don't think you can deny that. I don't think you can deny that Karrion Kross is actually really loved by the fans at the moment. I think it's pretty clear. To see that. But hey, it is what it is. Oh, someone just liked again. We got 6 likes now on the live stream. Thank you, people. Thank you, people, for the likes. If there's anybody here and you want to hit that like button, feel free to do so. It's never required, but I do appreciate it. Do appreciate it. Then we get Gunther versus Goldberg. A Gunther segment involving, he just starts talking trash about the fans, talking trash about Goldberg going into Saturday night's main event. Then Goldberg comes out. They do what they do. He throws one punch and he immediately looks like he's gassed, like he's used up all the energy in his gas tank. Like he's like a car. He's like a car right now. Right now, let's just say Goldberg is a car. With one punch, Goldberg just used up every ounce of gas in his gas tank, and he's now on empty. And he can't even do anything else because he doesn't have any gas, and he can't move because he doesn't have any gas in his car. It's like even trying to go for the spear, he looked gassed going for the spear, and Gunther obviously rolled out to the ring. Look, Goldberg is going to lose. It is Goldberg's retirement match, meaning last match ever. Now, obviously, retirement matches don't really mean that much anymore because take a look at guys like Ric Flair and some other guys who have had quote unquote retirement matches, although they came back and they came back and wrestled a couple more times before they officially decided, you know what, maybe I should just hang it up for good. And even then, they're kind of like, should I come back or should I just stay? Or should I just stay at home and do nothing for the rest of my life? But yes, I am hoping that this is Goldberg's last match ever, and I'm predicting that Gunther wins. Boo me all you want because I don't want Gunther to win because I'm not a and because I want Gunther to win and because I'm a Gunther fan. I like Goldberg. It's just that he does not need this win. He does not need to win the title. And I know that's probably hurts the feelings of someone named Mox, but that it is what it is. Who cares? Who cares? We got Dragon Lee versus El Grande Americano. This match was good. It was pretty good. Went about 13 minutes. El Grande wins. Nothing much to say here. At one point, El Grande Americano decided that he was going to try to speak Spanish, but this guy wasn't exactly doing a very good job of it. So that made me think, oh yeah, that's not El Grande. That's obviously Ludwig Kaiser, because he did not sound Spanish. That did not sound like a Spanish accent. But it is what it is. Then we got the main event, Seth Rollins versus Penta. This was a very good match as well. Went about 15 minutes. Seth Rollins wins. Wins obviously. They weren't gonna book this. They weren't gonna book this show without having Seth Rollins' faction looking dominant. With all three guys getting wins against talent on the show. After the post-match, though, saw LA Knight, saw Seth Rollins motion for his team, for his two muscle men to come out and hit a post-match beatdown on Penta. But before they were able to get into the ring, LA Knight comes out of nowhere and hits a BFT on Seth Rollins to close out the show. And that's how the show closes out. It was a good episode of Monday Night Raw this week. If I had to rate it, I would rate it a 7 out of 10. Wasn't perfect, but it was good. But it was pretty darn good. Then we go to Tuesday and NXT. NXT was again a good show this week. This is the only show I am able to watch live, so I am able to see everything that happens. What started the show, obviously, we got Ricky Saints going up against the Vanity Project, which is a faction on Evolve, on WWE's Evolve brand. It features, I think, Brad Baylor, Ricky Smokes, and the Evolve champion, and the men's Evolve champion, Jackson Drake. Three people that I will probably get to know more of in the coming months and years as Brad Baylor, from what I understand, is 20 years old, if I'm not mistaken. He's in his early 20s. So I'm like, ooh, this guy's got a long career ahead of him if he wants to stick it out in WWE. This match was surprisingly good. It lasted about 15 minutes, and Ricky Saints was able to win. He was able to win, and now obviously he will challenge Ethan Page for the NXT North American Championship at the Great American Bash today. I'm hoping he wins it back. And the stipulation is a Falls Count Anywhere match, because Ricky Saints, having won the Battle Royal, he got the chance to name the stipulation for the match. So it is what it is. We then get a video package of Jordynne Grace training for her tag team match at Great American Bash with with Blake Monroe against Fallon Henley and JC Jane of Fatal Influence. She then got a call from Blake Monroe, and then Jordan Grace is asking, like, where are you? I'm training right now for our match. And then Blake Monroe decides to treat Jordan Grace to a glamour workout, which we, as we found out, was nothing more than just like a spa day. This is definitely different from what Blake Monroe, aka Mariah May, was doing in AEW. But this might actually work. This might actually work for her, and I'm hoping she does well. But after this, we got Javon Evans backstage with the tag team champions, Hank Walker and Tank Ledger. They talk about Hank and Tank talk about defending their tag team titles. Javon Evans talks about how he was able to get one up on Jasper Troy last week after his match against Yoshiki Inamura, which was a very good match, by the way. Then, out of nowhere, Jasper Troy comes out and just attacks Javon Evans. And this would be a running theme throughout the show. At least he would attack Javon Evans at least one more time in the trainer's room. And then later on in the show, Jasper Troy would get into the ring and would demand to be put into the NXT title match, making it a triple threat match. But Javon Evans would get into the ring and would start brawling with Jasper Troy. That then prompts Ava to make this match official for the Great American Bash. So today it's Jasper Troy versus Javon Evans. That match should be good. I'm just going to tell you that right now. We then get Kalani Jordan versus Laney Reed. This was made official after Kalani Jordan and Laney Reed had a back and forth backstage in the women's locker room. Now, apparently, WWE has rehired Shayna Baszler, but it's not in a wrestling role. It's more of a producer role, and she produced this match, apparently. Apparently, she produced this match, and it wasn't even that bad. For it being just about 5 minutes in length, this match wasn't that bad. It was a squash match, obviously, but it was a very decent match because Kalani Jordan looked very good in this. And in the end, when she did her one-of-a-kind moonsault, she actually added a bit of a twist to it. But it wasn't even the best one-of-a-kind moonsault she's done. It definitely looked like it was a little scratchy. But it got the job done, and she got the win. Congrats to her. We then get the D'Angelo family. They're sitting down. Adriana Rizzo called a meeting for the D'Angelo family. Basically, she was kind of hoping that things would be able to get patched up between the family, but she realizes now that that's just never going to happen. And so what she proposes is a triple threat match next week for all three other members of the family, Tony D'Angelo, Stax, and Luca. So that match will take place next week on NXT. We're going to get Charlie Dempsey versus Tavion Heights. A match in which, if Tavion wins, he is out. He gets out of the NQCC. This match was definitely a brutal match. Lasted about 10 minutes, and it was definitely a good match. And this match was definitely good. And although Charlie Dempsey at one point near the end of the match started getting really brutal and vicious on Tavion Heights, which then prompted Wen Sinclair to throw in the towel on Tavion's behalf, meaning that Charlie Dempsey wins, which means that Tavion Heights is stuck in the NQCC for a little while longer. Too bad for him. Too bad for him. We also got Mike Santana and Joe Hendry versus High Rise's Tyson DuPont and Tyreek Equay and Tyson DuPont. This match went about 11 minutes. Pretty decent tag team, and obviously Mike Santana and Joe Hendry won. But then after the match, we got Trick Williams attacking Joe Hendry and Mike Santana. Obviously, High Rise gets in on the beatdown, and that's how that ends. And that's how that match segment ends with Trick Williams and High Rise standing tall. We then get Yoshiki, and we also got Yoshiki Inamura in a promo back and forth segment with Oba Femi. This, let's just say, this was very good. Both of them had a lot to say. And yeah. And this obviously led to a brawl between the two stars, and Yoshiki was able to put Obafemi down to the mat in this segment. So I was like, "Woo! Yoshiki Inamura has some power to him." Sorry, guys. Just give me. But yeah, we got the Culling, Sean Spears, and Nico Vance versus Hank Walker and Tank Ledger for the tag team titles. Tag team titles. This match lasted around 10 minutes, and it was a very good match. It was a very good tag team match. But I'm not gonna lie, there was a time in this match when I thought, oh shit, they might give the tag team titles to the Culling. But luckily for me, they did not do that. They did not decide to do that. They decided to keep the tag team titles on Hank and Tank, which I was definitely excited about, and I'm glad they did that. Then we get the main event, segment, which was Ava coming out there to announce that at least 6 NXT women will be officially representing NXT in the Women's Battle Royal. Those 6 women include, I think it's Kelani Jordan. It was Kelani Jordan, Lash Legend, Izzy Dane, Tatum Paxley, Lola Vice, and I can't remember one other superstar that I can't remember who it was, but it is what it is. Fatal Influence then comes out, then Jordan Grace comes out to talk to JC Jane, to talk about Fatal Influence and JC Jane and their match at Evolution. Then a whole slew of women superstars, even some from the main roster like Stephanie Becker, Julia. A lot of the women that will be in the Women's Battle Royal. Oh, and Jada Parker. Jada Parker. They were all there. All the NXT participants were there. They all talked. And then this all led to a huge brawl between the women, all the women in this match. So that's how that show ended, with a huge brawl of the women's division. NXT was good today. It was good this week. So I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Then we get AEW Dynamite. AEW Dynamite was this week. And let's just say it was not a terrible show, but not a good show, but not a great show either. We got the opening segment, which was Mercedes Moné and the timeless Toni Storm. The timeless Toni Storm. Cutting a promo. It wasn't bad. It was definitely a decent promo segment between the two of them. And I'm not sure who's going to win this match. But if I was booking this match, I would book Toni Storm to beat Mercedes Moné. And I know from having heard all the news and stuff within the last few weeks and the last few days, there's been a lot of rumors going around that Mercedes Moné has creative control in AEW. Well, if that is true, then this match whether it's true or not, this match between her and Toni Storm will definitely prove once and for all whether or not she has creative control or not. Because if she wins against timeless Toni Storm, then that proves to me that she does have creative control. Because there is absolutely no reason as to why she needs to hold the AEW Women's Championship. There's no reason. You can't give me a good enough reason as to why she deserves to be the AEW Women's Champion. This match is not for both titles. This match is not for the TBS title. She can still lose this match and still go on to call herself the greatest TBS champion in AEW's history. She can still go on to set the record as the longest reigning TBS champion in AEW's history. But knowing Tony Khan, when she does break that record, held by Jade Cargill, he's going to want her to be undefeated going into that when that happens. So who knows who's going to win this match? But my money is on Toni Storm. We then get a Jon Moxley promo. From Jon Moxley, and it's typical Jon Moxley, nothing too serious, it's perfect. It's the perfect Jon Moxley promo, and it is what it is. We got the Don Callis family, Konosuke Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher, taking on Brody King and Bandito. The Ring of Honor World Champion Bandito, who is obviously too proud, who is obviously not appearing on his own brand this week. Whatever. This match, about 9 minutes, is what it is. Don Callis family wins. Good for them. Let's move on. We got a backstage segment with the Hurt Syndicate. MJF is getting himself ready for his promo segment with Mark Briscoe. Talky talk. Whatever. But in this segment, Jet Speed apparently, which is consisting of Kevin Knight and Speedball Mike Bailey, who are going after the tag team titles in AEW. The AEW tag team titles. They swipe the tag team titles from the Hurt Syndicate. Great. Then we get the MJF Mark Briscoe segments. This is basically as you would expect any MJF segment to go. Shade is thrown Mark Briscoe's way. Both of them trade verbal bars at each other. MJF even goes as far as to say that, I don't know, man. I think maybe Jay Briscoe shouldn't have been the one to be killed in that car accident, and that maybe it should have been you instead. This then led to a lot of fans saying that MJF went too far, but then again, that's MJF. Like, do you not expect him to go that far? And also, you think maybe MJF pre-approved it with Mark Briscoe beforehand? Because obviously Mark Briscoe responded emphatically. Didn't end well for him, but it is what it is. We then get this. Then we got a women's match: Megan Bayne versus Queen Aminata versus Tekla versus Ty Mello. This is for the number 2 spot in the women's gauntlet match. There's a women's gauntlet match at All In today, and the winner, I'm guessing, will receive a women's title shot whenever she wants it, or maybe they'll make it for a specific pay-per-view. They'll make it so that the winner gets a shot at the women's championship at this certain pay-per-view or whatnot. But it is what it is. Megan Bayne went about 10 minutes. Megan Bayne wins the match. That's good. So she gets the number 2 spot. I can't remember who got the number 1 spot in that match, in that gauntlet match. But we'll see what happens. We got Samoa Joe versus Wheeler Yuta. This is a mismatch in a million, in 1,000. A mismatch in 1,000. Samoa Joe wins in about 7 minutes. It is what it is. Then all of a sudden, after the match, Gabe Kidd decides he's going to show up and attack Samoa Joe. Great. It is what it is. Well, and then we get another interview. We get an interview with Mercedes Moné backstage. She is basically talking about her match with Mercedes Moné with Toni Storm. And now she's going to walk out as the AEW Women's Champion. Yay, I don't think she wins again. I don't think she wins. I'm hoping she doesn't. We then get Hangman and Will Ospreay, Adam Page and Will Ospreay, and the ops of, I guess it's of Katsuyori Shibata and Powerhouse Hobbs. Why can't I remember names? Versus the Death Riders of Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli of Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and the Young Bucks. This match was about 11 minutes. Wasn't special in any way, shape, or form, but it was good. It was what it was. Death Rider, Hangman, the Death Rider. I can't remember who won this match. Doesn't matter. The post-match was what really mattered. Swerve Strickland. We saw Swerve Strickland outside of the arena on like a crane. He was riding a crane, and he decided, you know what, I'm gonna smash the Young Bucks limousine. Please tell me this wasn't necessarily inspired by Stone Cold Steve Austin's destruction of the DX Express. This definitely felt, when I saw this, I was like, okay, this looks familiar, or at least looks like this has been inspired by something. And then I immediately think, oh yeah, Stone Cold Steve Austin destroying the DX Express in a very similar fashion. But hey, if you're gonna be inspired by something, be inspired by one of the best segments in all of the Attitude Era. I'm guessing. But it is what it is. This AEW Dynamite show wasn't good, wasn't bad either. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. And then Friday Night SmackDown. Friday Night SmackDown began obviously with LA Knight. Yeah. Coming out to basically cut a promo on Seth Rollins and Seth Rollins' faction, which was then interrupted by Paul Heyman. But then all of a sudden, the New Bloodline, or the MFTs, My Family Tree, decided that they were gonna interrupt proceedings, and they were gonna proceed to force LA Knight out of the ring. Like, I'm asking myself while this is happening, why is LA Knight suddenly back in the Bloodline vortex? It's like no matter what he does, he just can't escape the Bloodline. I mean, he's now in a feud with somebody that's not the Bloodline, and yet he's still getting pulled into the Bloodline vortex just because he's on SmackDown. Because he's in the ring. So Skull's gonna find a reason to get involved in this man's business. Like, Solo, why are you still going after this man? He should be focused on Seth Rollins and his faction, not focused on your problems. I mean, your current issues are with Jimmy Uso and Jacob Fatu. Why in the hell are you still going after this man? I don't know. This then led to the main event being made. Eventually, they came in to try and swarm LA Knight, but then out comes Jimmy Uso with a steel chair, and then they fend off the Bloodline, this New Bloodline. This then leads to the main event being made, which is Jimmy Uso and LA Knight versus Solo Sikoa and JC Mateo. After this, we go and we get Alexa Bliss backstage with Charlotte Flair. She wants to know if Charlotte Flair will be at ringside for her Fatal 4-Way match, which that's happening next, because everybody else that's in this match is going to be having their tag team partners at ringside. Obviously, Charlotte Flair reluctantly agrees and says that, and then asks Alexa, do you really think I'm the cheerleader type? And then Alexa says you know what, you'd probably make a bad cheerleader. And then Charlotte's like, no, I'm not. No, I wouldn't. I cheer for myself. That doesn't count, Charlotte. This match, Ruka versus Kairi Sane versus Alexa Bliss versus apparently Raquel Rodriguez, not Roxanne Perez. I thought Roxanne Perez was in this match, but obviously she got involved in this match as it wouldn't have made sense for her not to get involved. Versus Raquel Rodriguez. This was a great match. Lasted about 12 minutes, and Ruka shined in this match. I cannot wait for Ruka to get on the main roster because she's going to be great. I just know it. If I'm not mistaken, Alexa Bliss wins the match via the Abigail DDT. I think it was on Kairi Sane. And that's it. She gets the win. I'm hoping that she and Charlotte Flair do win the tag team titles on Sunday because I'm thinking that's what's going to happen. That's my prediction for the match. We then get our Truth. We get our Truth versus Aleister Black. Now, I know some people are like, why did Aleister Black need to lose this match to R-Truth in about 2 minutes? Well, I'm guessing it was to set up a heel turn, and he's now feuding with Damian Priest, so it all works out. It's all going to work itself out. I'm guessing he's going to get a push as a heel, and hopefully it's a big push. Because he deserves it. Obviously, after the match, we go backstage. Aleister Black is mad as hell about losing. And not just losing, but losing to R-Truth and losing so quickly to R-Truth. Damian Priest then tries to calm him down, which then gets Aleister Black to put the boots on him and attack him from behind, which obviously is now going to lead to a feud between the two, which should be good actually because they are both great superstars. So I can't wait to see what they do. So hey, it is what it is. We got the Wyatt Six versus Street Profits for the tag team titles. For the tag team titles, this match lasted about 16 minutes, longest match of the night, and it was a really good tag team match. And the Wyatt Six are now your new SmackDown Tag Team Champions, or just WWE Tag Team Champions, which is good. It's okay. But hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Congrats to the Wyatt Six. They deserved, I guess they deserve to be tag team champions. But it is what it is. We didn't get after this match, obviously we got to go backstage with the rest of the tag team division, who, or at least the majority of the tag team division of that consists of DIY, Fraxium, and Motor City Machine Guns. DIY come in and are like, I mean, we kind of hate to say we told you so, but we told you so. Like, if you would just listen to us, the Wyatt Six would not be tag team champions right now. They would still be on the Street Profits. And it's like, yeah, okay, we get it. You've been preaching for the last few months or so that you know what's best for the tag team division, but do you really know what's best for the tag team division? Then Andrade and Rey Fenix come into focus, and they have officially announced, and they decided to announce, we are now officially a part of the tag team division here on SmackDown. So this is basically WWE's way of confirming, yes, this team is now a legit tag team on SmackDown. Which is great because you can't have too many great tag teams on SmackDown. because SmackDown is apparently where all the best tag teams are and where the most care is given to the tag team division. Raw, I don't know what's going on with Monday Night Raw. They have some good tag teams, but they just are never utilized properly. Or in some cases, they're just not used at all. Don't know why that is, but it is what it is. We got arguably probably the segment I was most not interested in, Jelly Roll. Look, I like the guy. I've never listened to his music, but I like the guy. He was on American Idol this season. He was on this year's season of American Idol as obviously like a mentor for the entire season. And I like him, but do we really need him on SmackDown? Do we really need him at SummerSlam in a match against Logan with Randy Orton? I'm guessing against potentially Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre. Now, granted, Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre might actually make a better tag team than Logan Paul and John Cena. But only time will tell. I'm not interested in this. Let's move on. Let's just say Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre took out Randy Orton ahead of their match tonight at Saturday night's main event. Then Jelly Roll gets one in on Logan Paul. He goes out of the ring. They start yelling and stuff, and it is what it is. Move on. We then get Tiffany Stratton in a segment with Trish Stratus. Trish still has it, whether you like to admit it or not. Trish Stratus has still got it. She never lost it. She never let it go. She's still just as good as she was. in the Attitude Era. In fact, she probably looks better than she did during the Attitude Era, which is weird. It's almost like R-Truth. Almost like she has that R-Truth effect. R-Truth looks better now than he did in the Attitude Era. In fact, I'd say he looks younger now than he did in the Attitude Era. Like, how is it that some of these superstars, they just don't age? They decide they're not going to age. But it is what it is. It is what it is. During this segment, we got Naomi coming out, and she is out there to cut a promo. She's out there to remind two of them of the fact that she holds the Money in the Bank briefcase, and she's out there to remind them to proceed with caution. But before she even gets to say anything, Jade Cargill comes out, attacks her, this is obviously the hype up there, no holds barred match at Evolution, which now I'm guessing Naomi will win because Jade Cargill got the momentum, has the momentum going into the pay-per-view. I'm actually hoping Naomi does win because WWE has had a weird obsession with booking Money in the Bank winners as losers before they inevitably cash in the briefcase. Why, I don't know, but it is what it is. But hey, it is what it is. What it is. Obviously, we got the main event, LA Knight. Yeah, I haven't seen him either. He must be busy. We got the main event, LA Knight and Jimmy Uso versus Solo Sikoa, JC Mateo. Obviously, LA Knight and Jimmy Uso win the match, but post-match saw Seth Rollins' faction get the post-match beatdown on LA Knight, the leads. So going into Saturday night's main event, Seth Rollins has all the momentum going into the match. I'm hoping this means that LA Knight is actually beating Seth Rollins tonight at Saturday night's main event. I'm hoping that's the case. But that is basically it for Friday Night SmackDown. If I were to rate it, I'd rate it a 7 out of 10. And that is about it for me. So I just want to thank everybody who did show up for this live stream. I know it's earlier than I normally would do it, but I do appreciate the people who did show up. Huge props to y'all. And until next time, I will see you guys later. And peace. Bye, guys.